So hello friends, good afternoon. We are to discuss a common class, or we are to continue a common class today. And the title area of the class is Education in Contemporary Indian Society. Dignified participants, I just tend to repeat that on 16th April 2020, one most important class was taken on the topic education and economic development. So friends, we know that once or at the time of defining education, we are to keep in mind about the welfare of life and uplift of human social order and progress of human civilization. And in all the parameters, the issue of economic development has special bearing or importance. And that's why, considering the significance of that area for all the revered participants, a common class was done on that particular issue, 2 months back. Today, one most important subject area has been selected for all the dignified learners or participant friends, so that you can satisfy your academic demand. At the same time, you can become able to be well acquainted with the most important parameter of education, that is education in contemporary Indian society. So friends, let us begin, and before this, I express my sense of gratitude to you all, because without you, this class has no value at all, no meaning at all. Means in absence of the participants, transaction of knowledge has no meaning at all. At the same time, I express my sense of gratitude to all my well-wishers, because you are giving me feedback what I am to do, where I must have to pay special attention. Mr. Khan Sahab also helped me, Imad Khan Sahab helped me concerning to the pronunciation of some of the important terms. I am thankful to you too here today. And I express my sense of gratitude to my technical support hand and family members, because all these classes are being continued from my family setting, from my personal laboratory, which is not where so many omissions and commissions are there, which is not up to the mark. I express my sense of gratitude to Google Authority, because I am taking the help of, I am searching internet for taking or for placing all the important diagrams. Considering my intellectuality and the nature of teaching contents, at the same time I request you to put any question if you do have to my mail ID, which I help you get. At the same time, means parallelly, I request you all to, if you feel the need or demand, write with the help of my WhatsApp numbers. Let us go back to this is the basic class on the most important subject area. This class has special importance for the students of master degree of education, for these are trainees of all levels, maybe B.Ed, maybe M.Ed, maybe MPhil, maybe other areas. You are to know this. So friends, let us see. On this unit is being prepared considering the style of writing or expression in open and distance mode. Means SLM writing means self learning material writing principle has been followed, because we are not in face-to-face context situation. I am far from you, and that's why you are to feel as if I am in before you and you are before me. This unit is to introduce you all about different aspects of education in contemporary Indian society. Friends, without knowing history of society or social life, at the same time without knowing the history of education, we never can understand the speciality or the spatial significance of the prevailing system of education. And there is a long history of education in India, because we must have to discuss the history of British rule from the beginning or since the time of 1813, means the Macclesfield Unit or the Charter Act of 1813 and 1835. Macclesfield Unit we have to start and continue our discussion till 15 August of 1947. And after 1947, 15 August till today, so many new things have been coming to the field of education. We had three educational national policies. First one is after the Qatari Commission of 1964 and 66. That is the National Policy on Education 1968. And then after we get the second policy of national education, that is the National Policy of Education 1986. After that there is the Review Policy of 1992. And latest National Policy on Education is 2019, which has paid special attention towards 5 parameters where accountability issue has special importance or focal importance has been given. I will not discuss all these things. Simply I will go back to this. And this is the basic discussion of this most important and extensive area of discussion. Education in contemporary Indian society. Let us begin. In this unit, this unit is to introduce you all about different aspects of education in contemporary Indian society. From this unit, means from the discussion of this class, you will come to know in detailed manner about the state, means the concept of state will be so much clear for you. Politics, how politics influence education, you will come to know. And Indian education system, you will come to know. Concept of state and education will be very clear from the unit, and you will come to know about the role played by the state for spreading education. Various types of educational institutions that are performing explicit roles in the process of spreading education among the masses will be clear from the contents of the unit, means contents of the discussion. So friends, without understanding all these things, we never can teach our students in proper manner to become expected or required human resources for the transformation of the economic condition of our country. And that's why these things are very much important for all categories of learners. Let us go back to the next slide. Education is an unremitting and lifelong progression, which is imparted and acquired by different categories of people with the help of diverse forms, that is formal, informal and non-formal modes on the spatial social setting where roles of the state is very important. System of education functions in society and society functions under state. Political system is one of the important systems that controls and helps to continue all other processes for the transformation of the social system and thereby the growth of the nation as a whole. So friends, what is education? It is an unremitting and lifelong progression, and it is imparted for the development of all human attributes and capabilities. We help our students with the help of education of different subjects to become necessary or required human resources to take part in the process of economic transformation and social uplift, at the same time in the process of transformation as well as uplift of own social order and growth of civilization. Let us go back to the next slide. In this unit means in our discussion, we will discuss in details about the process and structures of education system that have been continuing under the support of state and diverse agencies. In our discussions, special emphasis will be given on the diverse roles of the state and process of education that continues under the patronage of the state for the transformation of social life and the growth of national life as well. Education is in India, as we know very well, like other parts of the world, is imparted by different categories of institutions, maintained and managed by different administrative bodies under the provision of rules, supervision, financial assistance and administrative mechanisms of the state. So friends, how administration is to be continued and how planning is going on, how things are continuing, all these things we have to understand, because without having proper concept of all these exercises, we never can help our students become proper human resources for the transformation of the economic system or pattern of the nation. Let us go back to the next one. As for the constitutional provision of India, education is an important responsibility of the state and central responsibility of the central and the state governments. So friends, you are to know concerning to the responsibility of education. Once it is discussed, then we must have to say that the responsibility of education is partially in the hand of the central government and as well as the state governments. The responsibility of education of the country neither directly is the responsibility of the center nor is the responsibility of the states. As education is an important subject matter of the concurrent list, you are to know it, because in your TET examination it may be put question to you. It's a subject matter of the concurrent list of the Constitution of India, and that's why the responsibility of spreading education is neither the responsibility directly of the central government nor the responsibility of the state governments. Partially it is the responsibility of the central government and it is the responsibility of the state governments. You see, the responsibility of education is a joint responsibility of both the central and the state governments. Let us go back to the next slide. Again, we are to discuss in this discussion in detailed manner about a new economic reform we are to understand. And again, we are to be well acquainted with the present situation where COVID means ongoing COVID-19 situation we have to understand, because many new changes will come to our system of education and this is high time to make ourselves ready. Otherwise, many challenges, unmanageable challenges will be there in front of us. So friends, we must have to understand about the policies and concepts and principles of new economic reform that has taken place throughout the globe and the impact of the reform in the field of education, including the policies of the governments of the country and the state as well. Differences between public versus private education, privatization of public education and education for the marginalized and socially disadvantaged groups will also be discussed so that you all become able to develop a holistic view about the educational processes of the country and thereby the state as well. Friends, we are to understand why privatization is there. It's not the government is not responsible alone, but why the quality or qualities are declining in the public sector institutions. Who are responsible? And what we are to do? Because if we cannot save the public sector, then many problems will come. Why private sector is coming up? You see, because of the problems which are there, means the declining quality in the public sector educational institutions, private sector educational institutions are coming up. So friends, these things are to be discussed quite well so that we can understand the realities for the safety of our own service position, at the same time to save our system of education, and we help our society, help our economy to change it as per the expectation of the lay citizen of the country. Different types of educational functionaries, as we understand, play different roles in maintaining and managing different types of activities for the smooth conduct of educational exercises of different educational institutions. Different functionaries within the state rules keep close relationship for managing and maintaining educational affairs, namely policy making, planning, management, financial, economic, public relation, examination, co-curricular activities, etc. These things are getting much more, complex now because of the ongoing COVID-19 situation, and we are bound to change our approaches, and we are at the same time bound to become ready to face all the challenges which are coming to the front of our service life because of the economic recession throughout the whole globe and social order. Let us go back to the next one. Among all the groups of functionaries performing diverse roles for the spread of education in diverse fields and levels, there is very close relationship, and the success of educational management and administration generally is a matter of close coordination among all the groups and bodies of management and administration. Education, as we know, is one of the most important social forces on which the overall progress of national life depends. Friends, we are in relaxed position because of the lockdown situation, but we should not be in such state of mind, because many new unmanageable challenges are coming because of the impact of COVID-19, and we are to make ourselves ready as teachers, as students, as guardians, as educational planners, as educational officers, as management authorities, as administrative bodies, so and so forth. Let us go back to the next one. Without education, we never can think about the progress of society, and the rapid progress of social life depends on the dynamism of the prevailing system of education of the state, maybe public or private. And who will bring this dynamism? It is you and me, your responsibility, my responsibility, responsibility of the state, responsibility of the nation. It's a common responsibility. So friends, if you remain in the relaxed position without considering the challenges which the ongoing COVID-19 situation has brought to our life front, then many new challenges which will not be manageable for us are coming to our life. So let us become ready considering the new changes which are taking place in the total social system, economic system and system of political management. Also, let us go back to the next one. You see, you all have always been uttering the term state. We say state about state. This term contains very wide meaning and is very closely associated with our life. Different experts have given different meaning of the term state. However, for making the concept clear to the readers like you, we are to see the broader political meaning of the term state. Let us see. Next, the most accepted definition of the term state helps us have a clear idea in totality. A state has been discussed by the experts concerning to the fields of political science as an autonomous political unit, including many communities within its territories over which it has legitimate centralized power. It traces semantic explanations, means in linguistic explanations, a state is a sovereign entity, and it holds supreme rule over its territory. So friends, what is state? We can understand by studying the contents of this slide. Let us go back to the next one. When we say about legitimate power of a state, we simply, what does legitimate power mean? We simply mean power coming from a formalized position or office. Legitimate or lawful power is the type of power that has been granted through institutions, things like voting, bureaucracy, and sometimes even as per tradition. With this idea of legitimate power in mind, we can divide states in different forms such as democratic state, state under the rules of kings and queens, under military power and under the power of autocratic authority, etc. So friends, we say that we are one of the vast and extensive democracy, and that's why without understanding the democratic spirit, principles and ethics and values, we never can help our democracy become so much successful and become so much progressive. It is our responsibility of the common citizen, and we can help our students to understand the democratic social order as well as values by realizing the concept of education or meaning of education. Up till now, we are not become successful in achieving the target of 100% literacy. The literacy percentage as per the census report of 2011 is merely 74.04%. So friends, voting power of the general people or masses has special significance for the protection of state, and it is education which help us realize the values of France's power of voting or values importance of voting for the progress of a state. At the same time, progress of state means the progress of society. Let us go into this next one. The concepts of states can be explained focusing more on power than size. The legitimate centralized power of a state has the recognized power to do things like prepare developmental plans and determine policies, collect taxes, make laws, enforce laws, maintain all types of relationship with the nation states, and draft policies for maintaining sovereignty of the state. State also prepares laws for wars and policies of law enforcement. Thus, a state holds legitimate or lawful power to use legitimate force to maintain order by protecting the sovereignty. And in such situation, in such state, the roles and responsibilities of the citizens are much more important, because without understanding by the citizens the democratic culture, citizens cannot help democracy progress much more. And here at this point, education has special importance. Let us see. Education, as well as we all realize, is one of the most important areas under the consideration of any or every state. With the help of education, a state tries to bring all types of socio-economic, socio-cultural, socio-political transformation. Education helps to develop all types of human resources as per the plan and policy of any state. Under the consideration of state policies, education is one of the most important subjects. By the system of education, a state tries to practically realize the developmental policies as per the ideologies and principles of the system of governance. So friends, the system of education has special importance in changing social order, in changing economic order, in helping nation become so much successful to achieve the target of excellence in all areas, or becoming a powerful national society or powerful nation in the club of nations. And that's why we people who are inside the system of education, it has special importance for the total transformation of social life. And that's why our roles do have special importance for the development of our state, at the same time change of our economy, as well as transformation of social order as a whole. Let us go back to the next one. The system of education of a state reflects the state policies considered important for the overall transformation of society, and the development in totality of a state depends on the well-managed system of education of a state. State and education both are very important concepts, and the development of the qualities of every citizen depends on the system of education of a state. And with the help of the system of education of a state, both citizens and the states are benefited. Overall development of a state depends on the system of education, and the nature and characteristics of governance of a state is also being well manifested by the system of education. So friends, the institutional setting, the institutional culture specially reflects the culture of all of you, means the main, all of you means the most important human resources in whose hand the power of changing society is there. So friends, once your institutional, once the values of institution, the institutional setting or the campus discipline is lost, it means that you are negative or you are compromising with your role, with your responsibilities towards helping your state and society. You see, transfer as per the demand of the change time. So friends, thank you so much for today. I will discuss the other important parts of this class. This class will help you to understand, or this lesson will help you to understand the roles of state in detail, the concept of privatization in detail, the concept of globalization in detail, at the same time the demands of the ongoing COVID-19 situation in totality. So thank you so much for today. I will discuss the other things in the next class. Thank you.